Hi students, I am Prakash, Chartered Accountant and acting as academic advisor in Masterminds from the past 20 years. Here is a short video introducing matchless Masterminds briefly for the convenience of the students who came to this channel for the first time. Masterminds was established in the year 2002 and has been acting as a reliable platform to offer coaching for CA and CMA courses. Masterminds is undeniably the pioneer and the leader in MEC, CEC, CA and CMA courses with nearly 20,000 admissions per annum. This is an incredible initiative by three edupreneurs, namely Mohan, Radha and Prakash, that is me. All three qualified CA at a very young age of 21 years and started this organization under the mentorship of my father, Mr. M. Siv Prasad Garu. So Mr. Mohan is my brother and Radha is my sister-in-law. And by the way, it's me, Prakash, Chartered Accountant. So here are the courses for which we offer the coaching. We offer coaching for MEC, CEC groups exclusively at intermediate level. And we also offer integrated coaching for MEC along with CA, CMA Foundation. And we also take exclusive admissions for CA, CMA Foundation or CA, CMA Inter. And we also offer coaching for CA, CMA final level as well. Recently, we have started a unique academic program at intermediate level, that is MEC Pro, aiming for the students who want to pursue BBA or MBA or CLAT courses in future rather than CA or CMA, and we have received a huge applause for the same. So 20 years of experience, and we have finished more than 155 batches of CA or CMA Inter in Guntur alone and similar number of batches in all our branches together. So till now completed 17 batches of CMA Inter and 18th batch is going on. Successfully completed 25 batches of CA final till now and 26th batch is running now, and we have also successfully completed 4 CA or CMA final batches in Hyderabad. So till now our students are able to achieve 990 All India ranks at various levels of CA, CMA courses, and our students are able to achieve first rank for 48 times in various courses for which we offer coaching. So in a single year, our students are able to achieve 3 All India first ranks in the year 2020, and till now our students are able to achieve state first rank at MEC intermediate level for 18 times, that too 8 times in a row. In a single attempt, our students are able to grab 98 All India ranks at CMA Inter and final results of January 2021 and our All India ranks in February 2022 CA results. And here are the 10 All India ranks in CA final results of 2021 alone. And till now, our students are able to secure 93 All India ranks at IPCCR CA Inter level in the last 9 years. And here is our physical presence: Guntur, Vijayawada, Hyderabad, Amirpet, Dilshuk Nagar, Vizag, Tirupati, Kurnool and Rajahmundry. And here are the locations where we have branches. And here are the contact numbers. Here is the list of our physical presence and here is the list of our online presence. And for your kind information, we don't have branches in any other locations other than stated here. So please do install our Android app Masterminds Online Classes from Google Play Store, and if you belong to iOS platform, then install an app called Class Plus from Apple Store and enter the organization code as MZGUN. In this app, you can find a large number of useful content like regular batch videos, crash batch videos, rapid revision batches, guidance classes, motivational videos, amendment videos, masterminds, test series, whatnot. Large amount of useful content is already available in the app. In our app, you can find a section called study material where large amount of free content is also available. Until now, more than 24,000 students have already downloaded our app, and we are nearing to 25,000. Sir, is it possible to interact with the directors directly? Yes. If it is an administrative issue, you need to contact Mr. Mohan sir on this mail ID. If it is academic issue, you need to contact me on this mail ID. So thanks to all our students who are our true brand ambassadors and who helped us to reach this position. All the best.
Hello students, greetings of the day. I hope everyone is doing good. So in this video, I will be explaining CA Inter revision test paper that was released for May 2022 examination. So I will be explaining paper 8 section B, that is economics for finance. Okay, right now. So let us see each question one by one. So let us not only we will go through the questions, but we will also try to find out whether these questions are covered in our material or not. So in this way, you will know the importance of being thorough with our masterminds material. Let us see the question one by one. Question number 1, subsection A. What are the data requirements and outcome of different methods of national income calculation? This question is directly present in our material, that is masterminds material, and you can easily answer this question. In our material, the same question is answered in a tabular form. Okay, in a tabular form. So let us see the answer for this question. That is, what is the answer, just answer given by the ICAI Institute. So the same answer is present in our material, but in a tabular form. Okay, but when it comes to suggest answer given by ICAI Institute, it is given in generalized form. That is the only difference between the two. Let us see the answer. The process of production, distribution, disposition keep going on simultaneously and enable us to look at national income from 3 different angles, namely as a flow of production or value added, as a flow of income, and as a flow of expenditure. See, basically we have different economic activities. Basically, economic activities are classified into 4 types: production, distribution, exchange, and consumption. Production, distribution, exchange, and consumption. Exchange and consumption can be clubbed into one, and it can be called as disposition. So basically, economic activities are 3 types: production, distribution, disposition. Basing on production, we have product method. Basing on distribution, we have income method, and basing on disposition, we have expenditure method. So we can calculate national income in 3 different ways. When we have 3 different methods, we need 3 different sets of data. So what data is required in each method, that we will answer in this question. Each of these different methods of looking, each of these different ways of looking at national income suggests a different method of calculation and requires a different set of data. Let us see the first method, product method. What data is required here? We need sum of net value added by all the producing enterprises. So if we take up the net value added means nothing but value of output minus value of input, nothing but intermediate consumption. So what is measured here? Contribution by each producing enterprise. Okay, next now, income method. What data is required here? Total factor income generated in the production of goods and services. So while producing goods and services, the firm needs to pay to the owners of factors of production. So it is payment for the business, but it is income for the owners of factors of production. So if we sum up the income earned by all the owners of factors of production, we will get national income under income method. So what is measured here? Relative contribution of factor owners. So how much laborer has contributed, how much landlord has contributed, that we can find out here. Next, expenditure method. Under expenditure method, what we need? So what data is required? In this method, to calculate national income, we need to sum up the expenditure incurred by all the 3 economic agents. So who are the 3 economic agents? Consumer, producer, government. If we sum up the expenditure incurred by all these 3 economic agents, then we will get national income under expenditure method. So what is measured here? Basically, flow of consumption and investment expenditure. We will try to find out both consumption expenditure as well as investment expenditure under this method. So this is question number 1. It is directly present in our material, but is given in a tabular form. Okay, right. Next, question number 1B. Can the GDP of a country be taken as index of welfare of people in the country? See, if you look at the first 3 questions, all these 3 questions are from national income chapter. Okay, so question number B is also present in our material, and an exact same question is there in our material also. Okay, so the same thing is given here also. Let us check it out. Okay, so question number 1B. So what is the meaning of the question? Let us first try to understand it. Can GDP of a country can be taken as index or base to define the welfare of the people? No, it has certain limitations. It does not mean that if the GDP is increasing, welfare of the people is also increasing, because while calculating GDP, we only focus on quantitative terms but not on qualitative aspects. Okay, so as we ignore certain aspects by calculating GDP, it cannot be taken as index or base to define the welfare of people. The same question and answer are present in our material. In the last 3 questions, you can find in our material, masterminds material, in the last 3 questions, you can find this question. Let us see what answer is given here. 1B. There are many reasons to dispute the validity of GDP as a perfect measure of well-being. Yes, we can't take GDP as a measure to define welfare of the people. Why? In fact, GDP measures our ability to obtain many requirements to make our life better, yet leaves out many important aspects. Yes, while calculating GDP, we consider most of the aspects, but we are leaving out many important aspects. Okay, because of this reason, we can't take GDP as a measure or base to define welfare of the people. GDP measures exclude the following, which are critical for the overall well-being. So if you look at this here, altogether in our material, altogether we have, I think, 12 or 13 points. So any 6 or 7, there we have mentioned any 6 or 7 points. Okay, here I think he has given us 1, 2, 3, 4 and 8 points are given here. Let us see what are the points covered here. Countries may have significant different income distribution and consequently different level of overall well-being for the same level of per capita income. See, per capita income may be same in two different countries. It does not mean that if per capita income is same, welfare of the people will be same in two different countries. For example, if per capita income of India and Sri Lanka are same, it does not mean that welfare of people in both the countries is same. Okay, Sri Lanka, welfare of people in India may be much high than in Sri Lanka, India, Singapore. So having same per capita income does not mean that welfare of people will be same in both the countries. That is one drawback here. Quality improvements in system and process due to technological as well as managerial innovations. These are not considered. Okay, we are only concerned whether we are producing goods or not. But how efficiently we are producing those goods, that is not considered here. Whether we are using advanced technology or outdated technology, that is also not considered here. There is another limitation. Production hidden from government. We do not consider illegal production activities while calculating GDP. But yet these illegal production activities also lead to economic activities. If someone is producing illegally, still there is production activity, right? But we are not considering it while calculating GDP. So production hidden from government authorities either because they are engaged in it or evading taxes or because it is illegal. Since it is illegal, we are not considering it while calculating GDP, but still these illegal activities also lead to income generation and that also affects the welfare of the people. Okay, either in positive or negative way. But we are not considering that one. Non-market or production and non-economic contributions we are not at all considering because they are non-economic, right? We are only concerned about production activity which is economic. Non-economic contribution we are not considering. That is contribution by mothers, contribution made by fathers, contribution made by wife. Next, voluntary services that you are providing in a charitable society. All these also affect welfare of the people, but we are not considering while calculating GDP. The disutility of loss of leisure time. Basically, leisure time plays a very important role. Okay, you cannot keep on working continuously without having any break. If you do so, your efficiency will slowly decrease. When your efficiency decreases, production also decreases. So whatever the leisure time we are losing, basically it creates disutility. That is not measured here. Why? Because we know that other things remaining constant, a country's GDP rises if the total number of hours of work increase. That is what we say in a general sense, right? More the time we work, more we produce, and when production increases, GDP also increases. But that is not entirely true. Okay, you may be working for more number of hours, but it does not mean that there will be increase in production. Okay, that's why companies avoid or don't encourage people to work overtime. Whatever they want to get done, they ask workers to get it done in the regular time itself. Because what happens is that if a person starts working overtime or extra hours, basically his efficiency decreases. Instead of producing more in that extra time, he will be producing the same quantity which he used to produce earlier. For example, earlier he used to work for 8 hours and he used to produce 10 units. Now company is asking him to work two more hours extra. So why? Because company feels that if he works 2 more hours extra, he can produce 2 more units. That means instead of producing 10, he can produce 12. But what will happen is that when a worker is asked to work for 10 hours, instead of producing 12 units, he will be producing the same quantity, 10 units now. So hours of work increase, but there is no increase in production. In fact, it leads to inefficiency. So leisure time is very, very essential. There should be break. For 4 hours, we need break so that we can regenerate, recoup, and we can again work efficiently. If no break is given and if a worker is asked to work continuously, slowly his efficiency will come down and ultimately productivity will also come down. So simply giving a statement that more the number of hours, more the productivity, more the economic growth is not at all correct. So we need to give importance to leisure time also. Unfortunately, while calculating GDP, we ignore that one. Next, voluntary services. So point number, this non-market production and this one are almost related to one another. Same thing. Many things that contribute to our economic welfare such as leisure time, fairness, gender. Fairness means we are talking about equal opportunity basically. Gender equality, security of community feeling, etc. All these things are ignored. Next, while calculating GDP also we ignore positive externality and negative externality which is caused because of one's consumption, one's production. We are only concerned whether there is consumption or production or not. That's it. Whether these goods are having positive impact to society or negative impact to society, we are not at all concerned. Okay, that is another point here. Okay, so like this 8 points are given, and in our material altogether I think we have something like 12 or 13 points. So at least try to write 6 to 8 points. Okay, right, depending on the weightage. If it is given for 2 marks, 6 points. Now if it is given for 3 marks, try to write 2 or 1 more point extra. Okay, right. So that is 1B. Next, 1C. Calculate national income with the help of expenditure method and income method. So data is given there. Basing on the data, we need to calculate national income. National income means here nothing but NNP at factor cost. Okay, so in expenditure method and income method, let us from the data given here, let us find out which can be used for expenditure method and which comes under income method. Okay, so compensation of employees, it is under income method, right? It is under income method. Profit, income method. Net factor income from abroad, you can use it both the ways. Indirect taxes, subsidies, nothing but net indirect. Difference between the two is net indirect taxes. Private final consumption expenditure, it is expenditure method. Net domestic capital formation plus depreciation. If we add these two things, it is nothing but gross domestic capital formation. Okay, and we need this in expenditure method. Okay, next, interest and rent, both these two will be added to profit and we will use it in income method. Profit, interest, rent combined together is nothing but operating surplus. Mixed income of self-employed, income method. Exports, import, difference between the two is net exports, and we will use it in expenditure method. Government final consumption expenditure, expenditure method. Employees contribution to total social security scheme, it also comes under income method. This cost comes under income method, Nana, but it is, I think it is already included in compensation of employees, so no need to add again separately. Let us see the answer whether we are right or wrong. Okay, so income method, you can clearly see here in income method, Nana, we have taken compensation of employees. See, let me repeat this one. Compensation of employees is given, along with that employees contribution to social security scheme is given. This 400 is already included in 1600, Nana, so no need to add it separately. Okay, okay, so we will directly take 1600. So what is the formula under income method, Nana? NNP at factor cost equal to compensation of employees plus operating surplus plus mixed income of self-employed plus net factor income from abroad. So if we substitute the values, you will get the answer. And in such kind of problems, you can find whether your solution is right or wrong, because whatever the solution or value you get in one method, the same value you will get in another method also. Okay, and when it comes to expenditure method, so this is income method, right? And this one is expenditure method. So he has missed the heading, Nana. This is expenditure method. So under expenditure method, the base formula is GDP at market price. GDP at market price equal to private final consumption expenditure plus government final consumption expenditure plus gross domestic capital formation plus net exports. So private final consumption value is given, government final expenditure value is given. Okay, and we know the value for gross domestic capital formation. Gross domestic capital formation means plus net domestic capital formation plus depreciation. I have already mentioned in the question itself, Nana. If you sum up these two things, we will get gross domestic capital formation. And net exports means exports minus imports. So value is 3,970 crores. Okay, from that you can calculate NNP at factor cost. NNP at factor cost equal to GDP at market price minus depreciation. If you subtract depreciation from gross, you will get net. Next, if you add NFIA to domestic, you will get national. And if you subtract net indirect taxes from market price, you will get factor cost. So by substituting values, you will get the answer 3740. Okay, so 3740. Most of the time you should get the same answer, Nana, but here we got different answers. Okay, so just recheck the question, and if the values are same, Nana, then no need to worry. Okay, but what happens is that most of the time we get the same values in both the methods. Okay, in this way you can check it out. Here we are getting different methods, so no need to worry, because the data is in such a way that we can't do anything about it. Okay, right, Nana. Question number 2A. So first three questions are from national income chapter, Nana. Next, let us see question number 2A. How is multiplier useful in the functioning of Keynesian theory of determination of national income? This question is from the Keynesian theory determination of national income. Okay, so in what way multiplier will be useful? Here he is talking about investment multiplier. When it comes to Keynesian theory, there is only there are two multipliers. One is investment multiplier, and the one is autonomous expenditure multiplier. We consider both. We will consider imports also. Okay, so how imports also in the formula. So investment multiplier formula is K equal to 1 minus B 1 by 1 minus b, and autonomous expenditure multiplier, foreign trade multiplier is 1 by 1 minus b plus m or plus v. Okay, so again this question is directly present in our, he has just changed the question, Nana, but whenever he's talking about multiplier, he's talking about investment multiplier. So what sort of effect it will have? Let us see. Let us say 2a. Okay, right, Nana. So here the multiplier concept is central to Keynes theory because it explains how shifts in investment causes changes in business expectation, set off a process that causes not only investment but also consumption to vary. So multiplier means what? Effect to one particular sector is not restricted to that sector, but it will spread to other sectors also. So if the investment in agriculture sector increases, not only that sector will prosper, but also other sectors will also prosper. That is called as multiplier effect. The multiplier shows how shocks or changes, shocks means changes, to one sector are transmitted throughout the economy. The MPC on which multiplier effect of increase in income depends. The MPC on which multiplier effect, basically multiplier effect formula is K equal to 1 minus B, right? Here B means MPC. So MPC and K multiplier are directly related to one another. MPC and K are directly related to one another. That means what? If MPC increases, multiplier also increase. That is what it is given in the second para. The MPC on which multiplier effect of increase in income depends is high in underdeveloped countries. See, in underdeveloped countries, the multiplier effect is high because in underdeveloped countries, as soon as people receive income, underdeveloped countries means we are talking about poor people, right? So in case of poor people, as soon as they receive income, they want to consume, they want to fulfill their wants, so they want to consume. So in underdeveloped countries, as soon as people receive income, as their income increases, their desire for consumption also increases. Unfortunately, even though the desire to consume increases, multiplier effect is low. Why? Because we are talking about underdeveloped country. In underdeveloped country, they don't have, see why that country is called as underdeveloped country, because they don't have adequate production capacity. So simply increasing the demand is not sufficient in case of underdeveloped country. Along with increase in demand or increase in consumption, government should focus also on increasing production capacity. So due to structural inadequacies, increase in consumption expenditure is not generally accompanied by increase in production. Yes, because of increase in income, there is increase in demand. Unfortunately, since there is no sufficient production capacity, the multiplier effect is very, very low. Instead of having multiplier effect, it may lead to a serious problem called as inflation. Example, increase in demand for industrial goods consequent on increase in income does not lead to increase in their real output. Rather, prices tend to rise. That is a problem here. Okay, this is question number 2a. This is also present in our material. Okay, right. Next, do you agree? Question number 2b. Do you agree with the statement? An important element of Keynesian model is that they relate to short period equilibrium and contain no dynamic elements. Yes, this is true, Nana. See, in question number, in our material, Masterminds material, if I am not wrong, in question number 1, okay, there we explained, we tried to compare the theory which is given by classical economists and theory given by J.M. Keynes. And J.M. Keynes tried to explain the difference between equilibrium income and potential income. Equilibrium income means he is talking about the income which an economy earns or produces in the short run. So basically Keynes is focusing on short run, not the capacity, not the ability, but he is focusing on the short run. So in question number 1, Keynes clearly tried to explain in our material, in our introduction itself we have it, Nana. Okay, when you look it through ICAI material, in the introduction part itself we have it. And when you click the Masterminds material, that is the Keynesian theory determination of national income, in the first question itself we have clearly mentioned, Keynes tried to differentiate between equilibrium income and potential income. Equilibrium income is related to short run or short period, Nana. So basically he is asking about the first question or part of first question. Okay, let us see the answer, what is given here, 2b. Okay, right. An important element of Keynes model is that they relate to short period equilibrium and contain no dynamic elements. Short run means hardly there will be any change in the economy. Okay, very few elements will change. So it is not that dynamic. There is nothing like Keynesian macroeconomic dynamics. Okay, when a shock occurs, for example, when there is a change in autonomous investment due to change in some variable, one equilibrium position can be compared with another as a matter of comparative statistics. There is no link between one period and the next, and no provision is made for any analysis no provision is made for an analysis for process through time. So basically he's focusing on short run itself. So it's a new question, Nana. Some part of first question is covered here and balance is completely new. So it's a generalized question. So you should learn this question, okay, and try to remember it. It's newly given content. Some of the content is newly given here. So Keynes is basically focusing on short run equilibrium, and short run is the name itself suggests short run means hardly there will be any change in the economy, and since there is no change in the economy, basically we can compare easily. That is what is given. When a shock occurs, for example, when there is change in autonomous investment due to change in some variable, one equilibrium position can be compared with another. Since there is no change, we can easily compare. If things keep on changing, it becomes difficult for us to compare now. Okay, and moreover, there is no link between one period and next. That means we are not talking about long run. That means we are not talking about transition. We are simply comparing one short period with another short period. Okay, so this is question number 2B. So this is some part of this question is quite new, so we should focus on it. Okay, right. So 2B it is. Next, 2C. The economy is characterized by the following equations. So equations are given, consumption function is given. So 40 plus 0.6 YD. YD is nothing but disposable income, Nana. Let us see whether we are talking about 2 sector, 3 sector or 4 sector, because in 2 sector disposable income and income are one and the same, but in comes to 3 sector, Nana, disposable income differs. Okay, next here F means basically we are talking about investment. Okay, investment expenditure 20, government expenditure 40. So C plus F plus G means basically we are talking about expenditure method. In Keynesian model we are talking about 3 sector. Let us see whether it is exports and imports are given or not. TY stands for transfer payments, if I am not wrong. Okay, let us see, Nana. Next, exports, X are given, imports. So we are talking about 4 sector model. So data relating to 4 sector model is given, and he's asking us to calculate equilibrium income. So we all know in 4 sector model equilibrium, the equation is Y equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M, right? So after calculating equilibrium income, we have to find out trade balance, that is nothing but X minus M, and also we need to calculate foreign trade multiplier, nothing but 1 by 1 minus B plus M. Okay, let us see the answers. So let us, whenever the data is given, Anna, first we need to write down the data. Okay, so there TY is nothing but tax on income, Nana. This TY is nothing but tax on income. So this TY is nothing but tax on income. Let us see the solution, Anna. So how to calculate equilibrium income, right? So in four sector at equilibrium, even though it is not given here, it is better to write that partner. In 4 sector at equilibrium, Y equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus M. So C means nothing but 40 plus 0.6 YD. I is nothing but F, right, 20. G means 40 and X is 30 and M is 25 minus 0.02. M is nothing but 25 minus, let us see, Nana, what is given there. M is 25 plus 0.02 Y, right? So this should be in brackets. This should be in brackets. Okay, right, Nana. So here T means taxes. Okay, so after substituting all those things, after carrying out calculations, we will get Y equal to how much, Nana? 247.142. Once we have calculated income at equilibrium point, you can calculate trade balance. Trade balance is exports minus imports. Already you got Y, right? So we will substitute that Y in that equation, X minus M equation. So this is the X minus M equation. This is the X minus M equation. So in that equation you substitute Y, then you will get a trade balance 9.94 crores. Foreign trade multiplier means 1 by 1 minus B plus M. Here B means it is 0.6 and M means 0.2. M means 0.2, Nana. This is minus. Okay. So you got 2.38. So it's a very simple solution. We have so many problems in our masterminds material, both in classroom discussion as well as assignment problems. So it should be very, very easy to solve this problem. If the same question is given in examination, then how many marks will be given? This question will be asked first, sir. 5 marks, because 3 different questions are asked, right? Next, Nana, let us see. Question number 3A. What are the various instruments by which government can influence resource allocation in the economy? So what are the various instruments available with the government? Basically we are talking about fiscal functions chapter, right? Let us see the answer. Let us see the answer for this question. Okay. So the allocation responsibility of the government involves suitable corrective actions when private market fails to provide right and desirable combination of goods and services. A variety of allocation instruments are available. What are the instruments? Government may directly produce economic goods. Government may influence private allocation. So the exact question and answer is present in our masterminds material in fiscal functions chapter. Okay, so the same question is covered here. So government, instead of see, in order to carry out allocative distribution, what the government will do, instead of asking private people, it can produce goods and services on its own, or sometimes it will influence with the help of taxes and subsidies. The private, it can influence private sector with the help of taxes and subsidies now, or it can come up with certain acts or certain policies. Okay, it can use other instruments like licensing, control, minimum wages, all these things to influence the private sector. Next, Nana, government can set legal and administrative. It can establish certain instruments to make sure that whatever the laws and policies it has framed, they are properly implemented and resources are properly allocated. Or it can use combination of above mentioned any activities, Nana. Okay, so the exact question is present in our material, that too in fiscal functions chapter, right? So there is 3A. Next, 3B. What are the interventions by government for correcting information failure? Exact question is present in our material. What the government has to do when there is information failure? What are the correcting steps government has to take? The obvious solution will be to spread that information as much as possible in the society to avoid market failure because of information failure. Let us see the answer for that one. Okay, for combating the problem of market failure due to information problems and correcting the information importance and considering the importance of information in making rational choices. See, when more information is available with the consumer, then only he can take good decisions now. So government has to make sure that market does not fail because of lack of information. If it is failing, then what steps government has to take? First, point number 1, government makes it mandatory to have accurate labeling. When accurate labeling is done, that means you are passing on most of the information to the consumer. Then when consumer has most of the information, he can take good decisions now. Next, mandated disclosure of information, for example, prospectus, all those things. SEBI requires that accurate information be provided for prospective buyers of new stock. So if you want to sell your shares, first you have to submit your prospectus now. By going to this prospectus only, the shareholder will decide whether to invest in that company or not. Point number 3, public dissemination. Dissemination means widespread. So government should make sure that information is spread as much as possible. That's why whenever government wants to carry out polio campaign or vaccine campaign, it tries to spread that information as much as possible. Even today, when you make a call to someone else, mobile calls to someone else, Nana, before the ring, you will hear some information regarding vaccination, all those things. That is called as public dissemination. And regulation of advertisement, setting the standards and defining the standards which every company has to follow when it comes to advertising. Okay, so these are the points. The same question is present in our material, same content is present in our material, and you can easily answer that question. Okay, right. Next, question number 3B. Question number 3B, Nana. What are the intervention? 3C. What is the distinction between discretionary and non-discretionary fiscal policy? You can find this question, direct question, from our masterminds material, and you can find this question in fiscal policy chapter. So what is discretionary policy? What is non-discretionary fiscal policy? That is given here. Let us see the same answer is given here or not. Yes, the same answer is given. This discretionary policy means what? It's a deliberate action taken by the government. Okay, and non-discretionary fiscal policy nothing but automatic stabilizer. Same content that is given in our material, same is here also. And next, Nana, in most economies or in most of the countries, changes in the level of taxation and level of government tends to occur automatically. They are dependent on and are determined by the level of aggregate production income, such as the instability caused by business cycles is automatically dampened without any need for discretionary policy. What do you mean by that? We first give importance to non-discretionary fiscal policy. If non-discretionary fiscal policy fails to stabilize the economy, then government has no other option but to go for discretionary fiscal policy. That means it can go for either expansionary policy or contractionary fiscal policy depending on the situation. So first we will have non-discretionary fiscal policy. If non-discretionary fiscal policy fails to stabilize the market, then we will go for discretionary fiscal policy. Budget is an example of non-discretionary fiscal policy. Okay. predicting what is going to happen in future, government will come up with certain policies. Progressive taxation example of non-discretionary fiscal policy. If it is unable to stabilize the economy, then government will separately try to increase the taxes or decrease the taxes. Okay, that is what is given here. The same question is present in our material. So almost all the questions that we have discussed till now, all are present in our material. Okay, right. Next, what is the interrelationship between monetary policy and money supply? Basically, we are talking about relationship between monetary policy and money supply. So, mastermind students and others, if you remember money markets chapter and monetary policy chapter, there you will find one equation, Nana, M equal to small m into MB. That is, money supply is nothing but money supply means the amount of money in an economy is nothing but it is a multiplier of monetary stock or reserve money. Okay, so M stands for, capital M stands for money supply, small m stands for money multiplier, that's nothing but 1 by reserve ratio, and monetary base is nothing but money released by or issued by RBI. Okay, so whatever the money that is issued by RBI, it will not be the same in an economy, it will multiply. It will multiply, and that multiplication depends on money multiplier. What is the formula for money multiplier? 1 by reserve ratio. 1 by reserve ratio, because the multiplier effect depends on the banking sector. Nano. Okay, right. Let us see the answer given here. So, if the central bank of a country wants to stimulate economic activity, it does so by infusing liquidity into the system. Okay, let us take an example of an open market operation by central banks. Purchase of government securities inject high powered money, that is monetary base, into the system, assuming that banks do not hold excess reserves and people do not hold more currency than before, and also there is demand for loans from business. The credit creation process by the bank system in the economy will create money to the tune of, see, whenever RBI is releasing money, what banks will do, Nana? Banks have, see, generally how banking system works, banks accept deposit, they maintain some reserves and they give loans. Okay. Now, in addition to that, RBI has released some amount of money. When RBI has released some amount of money, instead of keeping it as excess resource, banks are releasing the same money into the economy. When they are doing it, Nana, it creates a multiplier effect in an economy, which is also called as credit multiplier, Okay. So, what will the total impact on the economy? That we can find out with the help of this formula. So, change in money supply is equal to 1 by R. 1 by R stands for nothing but multiplier into change in reserves. Here, change in reserves means amount of money released by RBI. So, whatever the amount of money that is released by RBI will not be the same in the economy. It will be multiplied now. Okay, that depends on the amount of reserves banks are holding with them and the amount of money people are willing to spend. Okay. The effect of an open market sale is very similar to that of open market purchase. So, to explain this multiplier effect, we have taken the example of open market operations. Okay, where if RBI wants to increase the amount of money in an economy, what it will do? It will purchase, it will buy back whatever the securities that sold to the public, Nana. And if it wants to reduce the amount of money with the people, what it will do? It will sell government securities. Okay, so that we have taken example here. In other words, an open market purchase by central bank will reduce reserves. So, when RBI is purchasing securities, it will reduce the reserves and reduce the money supply. That means when RBI is purchasing, in other words, an open market purchase by central bank will reduce the reserves and reduce the money supply. So, when RBI is next to 4B, what is compound tariff and how it is different from mixed tariff? Compound tariff means you need to apply both ad valorem tariff and specific tariff. Okay, that is compound tariff. And mixed tariff means one of the two. Let us see, Nana. So, compound tariff. So, what is tariff, etc. that is given here, Nana? Compound tariff, which is a combination of both ad valorem as well as specific tariff, Nana. And mixed tariff means mixed tariff expressed either on the basis of value of the imported good, ad valorem, or specific tariff, whichever is higher. Okay, so in trade policy chapter, question number 2, both these points are clearly mentioned. You have to write down both these points. Okay, right. And compound means we will use both the tariffs. Okay, when it comes to mixed tariff, either compound, either specific or ad valorem, whichever is higher, Nana. Okay, next, that is 4B. 4C. What is voluntary export restraint? Question in trade policy chapter, last question. I mean to say, in trade policy, trade negotiation, in masterminds material, trade policy, trade negotiation is the one chapter, Nana. In trade policy part, in last question, you will find this voluntary export restraint, which is the important part. We have already indicated that this question is very, very important. Okay, right, Nana. So the same thing is given here also. So what is the meaning of that? Sometimes the exporting country itself will try to reduce its exports. Okay, why? To maintain a good relationship with the importing country. Okay, so that is the same thing is given here. It is a informal quota. It's not a formal quota. It's an informal quota. So see, I will take an example. I have already taken this example in the classroom. I have again taken the same example now. After COVID, just like any other country in the world, India also suffered a lot, Nana. So Indian Industrial Association approached the government and asked the government to help it out by stopping imports for some period of time, so that they can recoup again and they are in a position to compete with the imports. So Indian government will pass on the same request to the US government and ask the US government to reduce its exports to India, so that our domestic industry can recoup and can recover out of this COVID and are in a position to compete with importing goods. So here the US, what it will do in order to maintain good relationship with India, it will simply pass on a informal request to its company, domestic companies, asking them to reduce their exports to India. Okay, so everything is informal here. So basically the exporting country itself is reducing its exports. Why? To maintain a good relationship with the importing country. Yes, exporting country will get a benefit in the long period of time, but as of now it wants to maintain a good relationship, keeping in mind the long-term relationship with the importing country. Okay, same content is present in our material. Here also we have explained the same thing. Okay, right, Nana, given the same thing. That is 4C, if I am not wrong, right? Yeah, Nana. 4D. Explain the situation where a pharmaceutical company has full information regarding the risk of a product, but it still continues to sell. See, basically here we are talking about information failure, especially asymmetric information. That means buyer knows more than seller or seller knows more than buyer. This condition is where this condition is nothing but seller knows more than buyer. Okay, pharmacy company knows the ill effects its goods has on the patient, Nana, but it is what it is doing, Nana. It keep on selling the same medicine to the people because it knows that whatever the information it has, the same information is not available with the customer. Since the information is not available with the customer, Nana, it is trying to take the advantage of the situation. So we have a question related to Lemon's problem. Okay, the same question is repeated here. 4D. Let us see the answer, Nana. We are talking about asymmetric information, right? So Lemon's problem. So whatever the question is there, Nana, apart from the same question is given in our material, masterminds material, and as well as in ICAI material, Nana. Apart from that example, you have to write down the remaining all the points. Okay, right. So that is question number 4D. Last question now, question number 5. Let us see question number 5. What are the major concerns in functioning of WTO? Very, very simple. That means when it comes to WTO, what are the problems that are raised by countries? 5A. So this question is also present in our masterminds material. So what are the major apprehensions? Means doubt. That means countries are skeptic about the effectiveness of WTO. They are doubtful whether the WTO is an effective organization or not because of several issues. What are the major issues? The progress of multilateral negotiation is very, very slow. See, WTO means you need to include all the countries, right? You need to take into consideration all the countries. We have a saying in English that more the head, more the headache, right? More the heads, more the headache. So when you need to include all the countries into negotiation, Nana, the process will be very, very slow. So most of the countries, what they are doing, Nana, instead of depending on WTO, they are giving more importance to regional trade agreements. Okay, and it is very, very complex system. Next, Nana. When it comes to goods, industrial goods, we have some resolution, but whatever the problems we had in GATT, the same problems are yet to be resolved under WTO. Okay, so basically, even after establishing WTO, the situation has not changed much. Whatever the problems we were facing under GATT, General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, the same problems are continuing still now. Next, latest round is the Doha development round, and we are not at all hopeful about that round. That means we don't have any good things to say about the Doha round, because before this Doha round we had Uruguay round, Nana. whatever the agreements that countries have signed in Uruguay round are yet to be implemented. So the agreements in previous round were not yet implemented, and we are asking companies to come to Doha round and have agreements. The countries are not willing to do it because whatever the agreements they have signed yet to be implemented. So when previous agreements are not yet implemented, there is no use of having any new meetings for new things. Okay, like this, some points are covered here. So this question is also there in our material. Same question we have to write. Okay, there is no change in the matter given here and in our material. Right. Next question number 5b. How does income leakage affect multiplier? Leakages will lead to reduce in consumption. When there are leakages, your income decreases. When income decreases, demand decreases. When demand decreases, consumption decreases. That means MPC decreases. When MPC decreases, multiplier also decreases, Nana. Okay, so increase in income, what we say is that increase in income will lead to increase in multiplier effect, right? So this cannot keep on happening continuously. It at one day or one stage or the other it has to stop. If it does not stop, what it will happen? It will lead to inflation. So in order to have control over it, this inflation, and government uses taxes, okay, to reduce that multiplier effect, to reduce that increase in income. Okay. So leakage example is taxes, right? So because of taxes, what will happen? The multiplier effect will come down now. So as I said earlier, leakage is nothing but decrease in income. So increase in taxes will lead to decrease in income, disposable income. When income decreases, consumption decreases. When consumption decreases, multiplier also decreases. The same thing is explained here also. Let us see. See, the multiplier concept is central to Keynes theory because it explains how shift in investment causes changes in business expectations. So increase in income due to increase in initial investment does not go on endlessly. It has to stop. And how it stops, Nana? Because of leakages. The process of income propagation means here increase, Nana, slows down and ultimately comes to a halt. Causes responsible for decline in income are called leakages. Taxes is a leakage, savings is a leakage, imports is a leakage, Nana. Okay, because all these things, what will happen, Nana? Our income will decrease. When income decreases, demand for goods also decreases, production decreases, and economy will slow down. Income that is not spent on current produce, consumption goods and services may be regarded as having leaked out of the income stream. So if I am not spending my income on goods produced in our country, that means it is a leakage. Okay, so if the increased income goes out of the cycle, the consumption expenditure, there is a leakage from income stream which reduces the effect of multiplier. So simply stating, if taxes increase, tax is a leakage. If taxes increases, income decreases. When income decreases, what will happen? Consumption will decrease. When consumption decreases, multiplier also decreases. The same question is present in our masterminds material with the same content. You can easily answer that question now. And as far as remember, we have also indicated there is an important question, newly added question, important question. Okay, so that is 4b or 5b. I'm sorry. Next, 5c. What is the most appropriate method for calculating national income in developed countries? Obviously, it is the income method. Okay, right, Nana. So let us see the answer that is given here. So 5c. So ideally we have three different methods. That information is given here, and later on we have added that content also. The same question is present in our material. In fact, there is no need to write the entire question, Nana. As far as remember, it is question number 6 or question number 7 in our material, Nana, in national income chapter. There the last 2 points are sufficient. Okay, so why we use income method in developed countries? Because most of the people file their income tax returns. So when people are filing their income tax returns, it is very easy for us to calculate national income under income method, Nana. But when it comes to India, we use different methods. Okay, we use different methods for different sectors. For agriculture sector, we use GVA method, that is product method. For MSME sector, for construction sector, we use income method, and for MSME sector, a small industry sector, we use expenditure method. So we have different methods. The same thing is given here. Okay, let us see what is given, Nana. Let us go through that point. Income method may be most suitable for developed countries where people properly file their income tax returns. With a growing facility in the use of the commodity flow method for estimate expenditure, an increasing proportion of national income is being estimated by expenditure method. As a matter of fact, countries like India are unable to estimate the national income wholly by one method. That's what I said, Anna. Agriculture sector we are using one method, construction sector we are using another method, and small scale sector we are using another method. Okay, so we are using 3 different methods for 3 different sectors. Next question number Okay, last question. What is the significance of liquidity preference of behavior towards risk? Money markets chapter, in demand for money, there is a last theory, that is a theory given by Tobin. That is, this question is related to that Nana. That is theory that is given by Tobin. He considered risk in defining demand for money. So we have to answer that question. In his classical article, liquidity preference as behavior towards risk, given by Tobin. This question is also present in our material, in Masterminds material, in demand for money topic. It's the last question. The entire question is to be written here. Okay. So this is about revision test paper that was released by ICAI recently. Almost all the questions are present in our material. So this shows the importance of being thorough with our Masterminds material. Okay, we have already indicated you how to prepare, which chapter to prepare first, which chapter to prepare next, in what order we have to prepare the questions, all those things. In what order we have to prepare and revise the questions, all those things are already explained to you. So please stick on to the Masterminds material. You can easily answer all the questions which are given in examination. I hope you understood all the questions explained here. All the best for future examinations. Thank you.